Happy Information Wednesday, Chalyce McQueen here. With over 300,000 residences with pools in Arizona, which I quite frankly think is pretty low, I thought it would be important to discuss some safety tips and tricks on how to make sure that you're staying protected and your assets are protected. With 10 fatal drownings per day, that number is very alarming. Not to mention, there are drownings that occur that do not result in death, but do result in long-term consequences. You have pneumonia, hyperthermia, brain damage, and also acute respiratory disease that all are common factors when a drowning occurs. Obviously, medical expenses is a huge thing that comes into account when it comes to a drowning. And so it's important that you have the adequate coverage on your homeowner's policy and or landlord policies, and even your renter's policy to make sure that you're protected against an unfortunate circumstance such as a drowning. So on your homeowner's policy, I want to see no less than $500,000 of personal liability. Even more so, I do want to see you have an umbrella policy. The same thing for a landlord. If you are a landlord and have multiple properties, you should absolutely have an umbrella policy to cover and encompass all of your investment property. As I was saying, as a landlord, you should absolutely 100% have an umbrella policy to encompass all of your exposures and investments. As a tenant, same thing. If you look at your renter's policy, there is a personal liability coverage on there. $100,000 is pretty standard on these renters policies. But as a renter, I like to see you boost that coverage up to $300,000. The price point difference is nothing and the coverage is everlasting. So make sure you have your butt protected, whether you're a homeowner, a landlord, and or a tenant. One more thing on personal liability coverage, trespassers have equal opportunity to file claims and suits against us on our personal liability coverage, especially children. Children are protected under the attractive nuisance doctrine, which gives them the ability to sue us in the event there was a drowning, even though they trespassed. The reason being is as pool owners, which I'll go into detail here in a second, we have responsibilities and duties to make sure that we are protecting our property and our pool from any guest or trespasser that may come across it. Now on to our safety tips and tricks portion of our segment. Obviously, first on our list is supervision, pretty self-explanatory. Anytime you are having people over your house, make sure that someone is always supervising people that have access to your backyard, especially little ones around the pool. Number 2, make sure you block off all access to your backyard. I'm talking about your backyard gates. Make sure they're padlocked. You should padlock your back gate whether you have a pool or not. It of course limits our exposure to trespassers, theft, etc., and of course people from getting into your pool. Number 2, having high locks on doors. There's a local company here in Arizona called Slide Right. They install a contraption on the door that requires a little one basically to have to pull down this higher lever and open the door at the same time, which little kids won't have the ability to do. So added protection there. And obviously if you have a security system, they can install little sensors that will alarm and alert you in the event that, as I was saying, those sensors will alert us anytime the door opens or closes. Lastly, make sure you put our little ones through a water safety course. Although we're not surrounded by water here in Arizona, we do have lots of opportunity with pools. And as we visit lakes, etc., just it's important to make sure our kids know how to handle themselves around water. And in the event they are in water, they know how to get themselves out. As always, thanks for tuning in today. If you have any questions on our conversation, you can email me at cmcqueen@farmersagent.com or call me at 602-525-5665. Are you protected? We'll see you next week.